Hey, Holistic Health Crusaders, Dr. Wren here, and as you can see, I have a pine tree behind me, and I was taking a walk through this park yesterday here in Thousand Oaks, California, and I came across some fruiting pine cones and decided to make this vid to talk about pine pollen and some of its nutritional benefits, some mythology behind it, and the first step toward at-home personal consumption collection to make a tincture. So I don't know if you can necessarily see some of these fruiting bodies up behind me, but we'll get to that in a little bit. And so yeah, pine pollen is one of the most, if not the most potent plant sources of testosterone known. This is why back home in New Jersey you might catch the fist pumpers licking their windshields when they get out of the gym. It really is an incredible, potent androgenic substance that literally provides as much needed growth and libido boost to almost all plants and animals that come in contact with it in the spring after a long hibernation. The common image of a pine cone represents the female aspect of the pine tree. We think of it as being round and bulbous, goddess like, and the male cone appears more phallic, and that's what produces the pine pollen, which of course is the pine sperm. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing. How you doing? Smooches. The nuts and seeds are more like mini uteruses that come out of the female pine cone. A pollen grain is a microscopic in size and looks like Mickey Mouse's head. Here, I'll show you. So there we go. We got Mickey Mouse's head here, right? And it's like microscopic. I only say micro that way because Amo and I taught a guy how to pronounce microwave once at a Dunkin' Donuts in East Orange, New Jersey back in the day by her office, and the pronunciation stuck. Not that I believe in microwaving ever. So yeah, Mickey Mouse, where each of the ears are concave, so it flows to the female cones in order to successfully pollinate them. Traditional properties for pine pollen use include androgenic, nutritive, aphrodisiac, and as tonics for kidney, liver, heart, spleen, and more. Dr. Wren's recommended reading would be The Pandex of Materia Medica by Shen Nong, which is the earliest mention that I know regarding the medicinal uses of pine tree pollen, Chinese medicinal uses, of course. It is used for food, and its amazing mineralization and adaptogenetic properties increases SOD levels, so, superoxide dismutase. Some say it reduces age or liver spots, and it contains DHEA. So now here's where the mad naturopath steps in. Tinctures. So taking a pine pollen tincture is said to be the most effective way to get anabolic constituents into the bloodstream without any degradation possible caused by digestion. Women can get the benefits of pine pollen like testosterone without waking up the next morning with a beard, or as Italian women only have to shave once a day. My real name is Loren Lorino. I originally was supposed to be named Mary Ann after two saints, but they took one look at me when I came out of ammo and knew that wasn't going to work. But with women, you know how we tend to crave chocolate, for instance, around our cycles? Well, what we're really craving is magnesium and other minerals. And the pine nuts that come from the goddess pine cone are high in magnesium as a suggested alternative. I wouldn't recommend pine pollen for people 20 or younger because the hormones are still going all nutso, and I think there's really some cool mythology surrounding pine pollen if you feel like a Google. And we all know this is the universal, symbol for Google. Google, Google. Google. But for instance, pine cones and religious symbols have been associated with enlightenment and opening to greater spiritual dimensions through the pineal gland. And pineal, I've read, means face of God, according to some biblical translation. And there is a female pine cone in front of the Vatican. Anywho, let's get to it. So pine pollen can be collected once a year during the spring, and I'm going to show you a quick amateur way on how to do that, again, for personal consumption and at-home experimentation. So basically, and that would be the first step into transforming it into a tincture. So if I were down at the Jersey Shore and I was asked on a date by this guy, this is the kind of guy I would like to date. Hey, how you doing? But they all talk a big game, like this guy, right? Mwah, mwah. Woo! So you can collect your specimens off the pine tree, or just to be more beneficial to the tree, you can collect it directly off of the tree. I like to talk to the tree and thank it and be mindful and not take too much, and preferably collect my specimens between 11 and 2 p.m. in the afternoon, where I've been taught that the energy is most prominent in the flowers or fruiting bodies of a plant. And you can get a container, which I like to label here. So what I do is I label the date. I actually put the time, and as you can see, 12:22 today as an angelic added bonus. But I put the date, the time, my name, where I collected it. And here's a little trick that I do on my tinctures. I code the date as my lot number. So 14 is for 2014, and then April 22nd. So as I tried to show you earlier, you could take it, and it's kind of daunting, especially if you want to fill a whole jar to get that pine pollen in. So what I do is I collect it, and once I get it back to my Mad Naturopathic lab, I then go and sift through it and remove all the other debris that may have fallen into it before I decide to tincture it. And a very easy method, and check this out, is just to kind of beat it. I don't know if you can really see the pollen, but you can kind of beat it in, and that's the most conducive way to collect it directly off of the tree without really harming anything. Or you can squeeze it, and they kind of pop like balloons. So, and as you can see in the bottom here, we're getting a good collection. Let me try to do a little more. So, see, that's all nice down there at the bottom. Woo! Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Wah, wah. Whoa! Look what just happened! Whoa! Oh my goddess! That's nuts! That's so cray. Oh man! See, I can't go anywhere, and I'm telling you. Try a little bit of this. And my tongue's green from some chlorophyll tincture I took this morning, but I really feel bad now after sampling my wild harvested pine pollen for the next aesthetic specimen that happens to jog by on this jogging trail right next to me, because Dr. Wren's going to be on him like Donkey Kong. Anyway, so hope that was helpful. Peace, love, smooches, conscious fist pump, holistic health crusaders, and I'll catch you next time.